ناظرین السلام علیکم، آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں پروگرام پرسپیکٹیو نقطۂ نظر اویس اقبال کے ساتھ جیو ٹی وی پہ. ناظرین، ہمارا رویہ اور طرز عمل دونوں جنم لیتے ہیں ہمارے احساسات اور جذبات سے جو وجود پاتے ہیں ہماری سوچ اور نقطۂ نظر سے. ناظرین، ہر معاملے میں مثبت سوچ رکھنا اور نقطہ فہم ہونا بنتا ہے باعث انسانوں اور معاشروں کے درمیان اچھے باہمی تعلقات کا اور برداشت کا. ناظرین، یہ وہ جملے ہیں، اگر آپ نے اس شو کا پرومو دیکھا ہو تو یہ وہ جملے ہیں جو ہم نے اس پرومو پہ کہے ہیں کہ میرا اور آپ کا جو رویہ اور طرز عمل ہے ناظرین وہ کس طرح سے ڈیولپ پاتا ہے. اور آج اس معاشرے میں جہاں پہ ہر کوئی ہیلدی لائف جینے کے لیے پریشان ہے، لیکن اس کو جینے کے لیے پین اور اسٹریس سے کیسے چھٹکارا حاصل کیا جائے اور اس کا روٹ کاز کیا ہے. ناظرین، کہاں سے اس سلسلے کا آغاز ہوتا ہے کہ جو ہم اپنے گھر میں پین لے کے آتے ہیں، اپنے ساتھ اسٹریس کو لے کے آتے ہیں اور وہیں سے ہماری زندگی جو ہے وہ ایک دوسری ڈائریکشن میں چلنا شروع ہو جاتی ہے. ناظرین، آج اس پہ بات کرنے کے لیے ہم نے دعوت دی ہے شیراز خان صاحب کو، جو پروفیشنل کوچ ہیں، مینٹر بھی ہیں اور ٹرینر بھی ہیں. شیراز صاحب السلام علیکم اینڈ ویلکم ٹو دی شو.
وعلیکم السلام.
So Shayraz sahab, why not you tell us a bit more about yourself?
I've been, alhamdulillah, coaching for about a good 8 years, I think, before COVID, alhamdulillah. A lot of stuff, even I was in my training and doing a lot of the workshops and helped, mashallah, many people deal with stress and help them remove some bad habits that they had, right? Because a lot of people come to me looking for goals. When I say sometimes you can't reach your goals because you have some bad habits that stop you from reaching the goals.
Right.
Because, you know, seeing change and seeing people grow from where they are and giving them that step-by-step process, alhamdulillah, you know, it works out extremely well. And obviously, I'm holding them accountable.
Very good. So as I said in my intro, you know, how we think and how we keep the viewpoints, right?
Yeah.
That helps us generate our emotions. اور وہ جو احساس ہے، جذبات ہیں، ان سے پھر ہمارا بیہیویئر اور لائن آف ایکشن ڈٹرمن ہوتا ہے، رائٹ؟ سو لوکنگ انٹو دس، the question I would ask you is کہ ہمارا روٹ کاز کیا ہے پین کا اور اسٹریس کا؟
روٹ کاز ہمارا پین کا it's layered. It's many things layered. You know, obviously there is physical pain, right?
ٹھیک ہے.
Right, if I fell down the stairs hypothetically, right?
Right.
You know, depending on how many stairs is one impact, so how much physical pain. Number 2 was somebody watching me.
ٹھیک ہے.
وہ کیوں فائدہ ہوتا ہے کہ then I feel, oh my God, I did something wrong or I'm an idiot or somebody laughed. اب ایک دوسرا emotional pain ہے. تو
ٹھیک ہے.
سرجری ہو گئی، ٹانگ ٹھیک ہو گئی ہے، مگر ابھی بھی درد ہو رہی ہے.
ہاں.
جب بھی میں you know stairs پہ جاتا ہوں
پین فیل کرتا ہوں.
mental ہے، you know، ابھی ہوئی ہو سکتی ہے but it's like a trigger.
ٹھیک ہے.
Right, so that's usually the root cause because our body and mind, our job is to protect you, right?
تو بیسکلی ابھی کہہ رہے ہیں کہ اگر ہم دو اسپیکٹ میں اس کو دیکھیں گے، there are things that we can control and there are things that we cannot control. جیسے آپ نے کہا کہ کوئی سیڑھیوں سے گر گیا تو اس کی فریکچر ہو گیا یا کچھ ہو گیا، you couldn't control that. یہ ہو گیا. ٹھیک ہے، لیکن وہ چیزیں جو آپ کے کنٹرول میں ہیں، جیسے جب آپ کی ریکوری ہو گئی ہے، ریکوری کے دوران جو آپ کی ول پاور ہے دیٹ از ان یور کنٹرول.
100%.
اوکے، سو دیٹس واٹ یو آر ریفرنگ ٹو.
Yes, right. And to remove the negative emotion because you made a mistake. Sometimes they feel disabled, right? In that process of healing, if they feel that they can't heal, the recovery takes longer. Right? So even motivating them that you are going to heal, you know, focus on the healing, focus on moving. A lot of people have recovered just by that focus that they've had.
So ہم اکثر دیکھتے ہیں بعض اوقات اپنے فرینڈز میں، you might have also observed and noticed it کہ slowly over time you see their behavior starting to change. They are less attentive, they are not showing up anymore, right? And there you can see that they are going into some sort of depression. And when you go talk to them, they don't open up with you. اور ان کا جو ہے وہ سارا ایک سسٹم چینج ہونا شروع ہو جاتا ہے. How do you handle that? They may not be realizing it, what's happening to them.
It's very difficult because they feel they're very alone, right? They're very alone and it's almost like self-conscious and subconscious. You know, self-conscious, they're very self-conscious of this is happening to me. And subconscious, they don't even know it's happening to them because, you know, I would say they're stuck in a program or a habit. And sometimes, usually is to break a habit, is to break the pattern, is do something completely different.
What would be some of the warning signs one should start realizing that something is changing in me, good or bad?
First is sleep.
Meaning more sleep or less sleep?
Quality of sleep.
Okay.
So the quality of sleep, meaning if you're not dreaming, dreaming is connected to going very deep in your
Right.
sleep. If you're waking up with pain and just feeling no energy, even though if you slept 8 hours, you slept 8-9 hours, right? If you slept 4, it's okay, but if you've slept 8-9 hours,
Should be very good.
but if you're waking up because you had to go to the washroom, and obviously these are things that diagnosed to leads up. And
Okay, so sleep would be one.
number 1,
Number 2?
your thought process throughout the day.
Right.
So what are you thinking about during the day? Right? You have about 70 or 60,000 thoughts that happen. Are the thoughts coded with positive energy, negative?
So 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day.
A day.
That's what human goes through?
Generally speaking, yes.
Wow. Wow. And how many of them we pay attention to?
45% of them are unconscious, because certain patterns, how you put on your clothes, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
If you had to think about that stuff,
That would be counted.
we wouldn't make it here.
Yeah. It's just natural.
It's automatic.
But it's part of the thinking process.
Part of the thinking, because it's already coded in there. We pick up energy. Where we are just energy, right? So if you're around negativity,
if you have friends around you, those who are not most positive, or the environment around you is not positive, so you can easily find yourself leaning towards more negative thinking, right?
it's going to be bouncing off.
Bouncing off. So basically sleep is one, and when the thoughts are coming to you, how you're taking them. What about your eating pattern or meeting pattern?
Eating patterns, when you stress, your body wants to eat more.
So if you're eating more, or abruptly, or maybe eating on a wrong cycle, could be one of the realization, right? Warning sign?
Yeah, because if you're going for snacks when you shouldn't,
Yeah.
that usually means you either got angry, got upset, got stressed, got financial stress, work stress. Your body needs energy. Even though you didn't do any workout, that energy pulsations, you know, I had a client that said, I'm getting pulsations. That means your body's working somewhere. She's not moving, but she goes, I'm getting pulsations. So inside her heart, she thinks something's going to happen. So now after that, she usually is probably going to eat something because the body is in stress.
تو اب ایسا ہے کہ یہ تو ساری باتیں feels to me bit more اس کو کیسے کہیں گے کہ ٹیکنیکل لگ رہا ہے مجھے نا یہ کہ جو لوگ ہمیں دیکھ رہے ہیں سن رہے ہیں they are laymen, they are easy ordinary people, right? So putting it for them, یہ جو ہم وارننگ سائنس ان کو بتا رہے ہیں, so it can tell them کہ something is change happening. اس میں بھی دو قسم کے لوگ ہیں. ایک وہ ہیں those who are good talkers, meaning they talk to their husband, wife, friends, brothers, sisters, and they express their feelings. And some, those who keep everything to their chest.
Yes.
So what's the difference between these two approaches?
The only one to help the people who hold it in the chest, they have to feel safe enough to share what they're saying and not feel bad about it.
Right.
And sometimes therapy usually keeps repeating the stories that make you feel bad. And usually there's no positive. But when someone comes in towards me, my direction is, where would you like to be in the next 3 to 4 months? And that question starts to make them think. And sometimes they don't even know because they've been so stuck in the negative. So I tell people, first way is to ask, where do you want to be?
Right.
Not talk about where you are. To change the thinking patterns like you're asking, right? So it's to where do you want to be and how would that make you feel once you got there?
Right. So basically جو پہلا کوشچن میرا تھا آپ سے کہ روٹ کاز پین کا, اسٹریس کا, اور ہم بات کر رہے ہیں کنٹرولبل پین, کنٹرولبل اسٹریس کی, not something which is arising from an accident or something. So that is leading towards how you think, اور آپ کے جو پرسپیکٹیو ہے, ویو پوائنٹ ہے, وہاں سے ساری چیز کا آغاز ہوتا ہے.
100%.
رائٹ, ویری گڈ. تو اس میں جو ہے وہ اگر آپ کے سراؤنڈنگ میں وہ لوگ موجود نہیں ہیں کہ جو آپ کو پاز کریں یا آپ کو رائٹ ایڈوائز دیں یا پازیٹیوٹی کریٹ کریں, تو دین اٹس کوائٹ ڈینجرس تھنگ.
It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because even outside of people, it's what you absorb on your phone, right? Right now the images are very deep.
Yeah.
Very deep, right? I would suggest, you know, even right now, because the news is so vivid, is to have your phone black and white filter. By having even a black and white filter on your phone, the images that you're seeing, if it's even, yes, they're deep, but if they're desensitized, it also would help you kind of...
So black and white filter, that's something new to me. So you're saying if I have a black and white filter on my phone, What change would it make?
You tell me watching a black and white movie.
So basically the images, the news is whatever you're reading
Will be like a barrier. And that's just actually, if you could look it up, someone showed it to me. There's a study that the kids, as soon as we turned the iPads to black and white, they didn't want to play with it.
Wow, what a strategy.
Then they got smart to look it up, how to change it back to color, and they got back to color. But it's just a visual thing, right?
So that helps. Anything else?
I tell, the first thing I train my clients is physiology affects psychology. So how you're breathing, how your body's positioned, you know, and you know, where is your focus really? It's, you know, if I say I'm depressed or I'm sad, I'm acting it, or my body's acting it, right? If I am excited and happy and so looking forward, you can immediately say the changes, right? So is to be really focused on inside what you really want.
बिल्कुल ठीक, थैंक यू सो मच शराज साहब. नाज़रीन, यहाँ पे हम ब्रेक लेंगे. ब्रेक के बाद जब वापस आएंगे तो इस गुफ्तगू को आगे लेके चलेंगे. हमने कोशिश की कि जो पहला जो सेगमेंट है इस पे बात करें कि मेरे और आपके ऊपर जब स्ट्रेस होता है, पेन होता है, ख़ास तौर पे वो मामलात कि जिनको मैं और आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, तो उसका रूट कॉज क्या है, वो हमारी जो सोच जो बन रही होती है वो क्यों ऐसे बन रही होती है कि जिससे मेरा और आपका तर्ज अमल जो है वो चेंज होता चला जाता है. नाज़रीन, ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि मैं और आप आज के इस परेशानी के दौर में, जहाँ पे बहुत सारा फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेस है, जहाँ पे हमें फैमिली का स्ट्रेस है, कुछ लोग जो है वो डिवोर्स से गुजर रहे हैं, कुछ के बच्चों की शादियाँ ठीक नहीं हो रही हैं, या और घर में मसाइल हैं बीमारियों से रिलेटेड. नाज़रीन, इस पर हमें तवज्जो देने की ज़रूरत है. छोटी छोटी सी टिप्स हैं, ट्रिक्स हैं, अगर हम इनको अपना लेंगे तो मुमकिन तौर पर हम बहुत सारा पेन अपने कंधे से उतार देंगे और अच्छी सेहतमंद ज़िंदगी जीना शुरू कर देंगे. नाज़रीन, ब्रेक के बाद भी हमारे साथ रहिएगा. नाज़रीन, वेलकम बैक, बहुत शुक्रिया. ब्रेक के बाद भी आप हमारे साथ रहे. आज हम बात कर रहे हैं नाज़रीन, हमारे अतराफ़ में और आपके अतराफ़ में आप देखते हैं हमारे अपने घरों में परेशानियाँ, मुश्किलात और कंधों पे बोझ मौजूद है. नाज़रीन, ज़माना कोई भी हो, इंसान हमेशा जो है वो आजमाया गया है. सिर्फ ये देखना है कि मेरे और आपके कंट्रोल में क्या है, किस तरह से हम अपने कंधे पे बोझ को, स्ट्रेस को, पेन को किसी तरह बीमारी की तरफ जाने ना दें और अपने आप को उस मुश्किल से बाहर निकाल के हेल्दी लाइफ जीने की कोशिश करें. नाज़रीन, शराज साहब, ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट रूट कॉजेज एंड वी आइडेंटिफाइड सम ऑफ द वार्निंग साइंस एज वेल. नाउ लेट्स टेक फ्यू एग्जांपल्स. हम अपनी पाकिस्तानी उर्दू स्पीकिंग कम्युनिटी को लेते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ पे मैन ओरिएंटेड सोसाइटी है और ज़्यादातर जो है वो मर्द ही घर का अर्नर होता है. और उसमें से भी बहुत सारे घर ऐसे हैं कि जहाँ पे हम अपनी ख़वातीन से, यानी अपनी वाइफ से डिस्कशन भी नहीं करते कि आपके फाइनेंशियल मैटर्स क्या हैं, वो सारे क्या हैं, और स्ट्रेस अपने तौर पर ही लिए जा रहे होते हैं. हाउ प्रैक्टिकल इज दिस एंड व्हाई शैल वी नॉट एम्पावर आवर किड्स एंड वुमेन टू बी पार्ट ऑफ ऑल द डिसीजन मेकिंग ऑन द टेबल?
I think that's, you know, very big because, alhamdulillah, the past, it would have been okay. But because the price, the cost, everybody's financially has to be working, you know, and not letting out the stress, you can do it. We're very strong human beings. We lived on this earth for a very long time, so you can keep pushing. But eventually then this is where all that body takes a strain. You know, and I find that if you communicate, not only are you teaching everybody how to handle themselves as it should be, it gives someone else the responsibility to make a mistake and learn, right? So I think, and when practically when we coach clients, is to say, okay, this is where your goals are. How do you get to that? You can't do it alone. You have to have people around you to be intradependent, not necessarily dependent.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. नहीं, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि जो भी आपके साथ कंपेनियंस हैं, अगर आपके बिजनेस पार्टनर्स हैं या फैमिली पार्टनर्स हैं, तो जस्ट डोंट कीप ऑल द थिंग्स टू योरसेल्फ, राइट? डिस्कशन, टॉक, बाउंसिंग द आइडियाज, एंड व्हेन यू रन इनटू चैलेंजेस दे आर देयर टू यू नो स्प्लिट द बर्डन फ्रॉम यू, राइट? लेकिन अगर लीडर ही जो है वो स्ट्रेस में है और लीडर ही डरपोक है और लीडर ही जो है वो खौफ में, पूरी फैमिली को ले डूबेगा वो.
And the biggest fear is, you know what, sadly, is judgment. If the judgment wasn't there, if whatever I say would be considered bad, if that's removed, communication would be a lot easier.
ये बताएं कि जो पावर ऑफ वर्ड्स है, लफ्ज़ों की जो ताकत है, मिसाल के तौर पर मैं एक फिल्म देख रहा था, उस फिल्म में एक डायलॉग था. वो डायलॉग ये था कि ज़िंदगी में कोई भी काम आप पहली मर्तबा करते हैं वो एक ही मर्तबा होता है. So let's say you are here, let's say on a TV show as a guest.
Yes.
Maybe you might be nervous, but this may be your first time. Second time won't be the first time.
No.
تو ہم اس fear سے کیسے باہر نکلیں؟
Very good question. We do have training for that. We're all talking about thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
ٹھیک ہے. So you could imagine how it would be if the interview went well, right? And if you focus there just for a few moments on the feeling,
Right.
after you have done it, just for a moment, because what happens is when you put feeling to it, ہمارا دماغ کو پتہ نہیں اگر ہو گیا کہ نہیں ہویا.
ٹھیک ہے.
So it has an imprint. So when you kind of now think about the event, automatically you now have, hey, it might be okay. We still don't know. There's still
How
a little bit of excitement and hey, I don't know what's going to happen. But at least the fear of it going bad has been almost cancelled with your impression that, yeah, I might not win the lottery, but I might as well try it.
Might as well try.
You know, in that context.
That's very good, very good. اچھا ایک اور بات ہم دیکھتے ہیں کہ جو اسٹریس کی بات ہو رہی ہے, پین کی بات ہو رہی ہے, وہ کنٹرولبل اسپیکٹ کی بات ہو رہی ہے. What we find, and I say this to my friends often times, is کہ جب آپ کوئی چیز اپنی آنکھوں سے بھی دیکھ لیں اور کانوں سے بھی سن لیں, تب بھی do not believe it until you have that context.
Correct.
Right? So sometimes ہوتا یہ ہے کہ مثال ہے, میرے دوستوں نے ایک تصویر لگائی, سوشل میڈیا کا دور ہے, انسٹا پہ, فیس بک پہ تصویر لگائی کہ 4 دوست بیٹھ کے جو ہے وہ کھانا کھا رہے ہیں اور انجوائے کر رہے ہیں. And I felt کہ I supposed to be the 5th one in that circle. And I'm not there. They must have ignored me. مجھے انہوں نے انوائٹ نہیں کیا. And I start thinking because what I saw. میں کل کہوں گا میں نے اپنی آنکھوں سے دیکھا تھا. But I never asked. Once I asked, I found out that it was random, that they all showed up at one place, or 3 were there, 4th came up.
Wow.
Versus anybody ignored me. So do you think that 25% of our challenges can go away if we stop assuming?
I think most of them could go away.
Most.
Because what you perceive to be real and what is real are 2 different things. So you have to ask yourself, what you're perceiving to be real, is it a 100% real?
Right.
And there can't be 100% real, because what you're getting is only one perspective.
One perspective, it's not the whole truth.
Yeah, and it's coming only from your eyes. It's not coming from anywhere else.
بالکل ٹھیک. اور دوسرا ہم یہ دیکھتے ہیں کہ ہم اس چیز پہ توجہ دیتے ہیں کہ what is the news. We do not pay attention who's bringing the news. So if Shayraz is a credible individual, and if you say something, then I should believe what you're saying. But ہمارے معاشرے میں کیا ہے کہ ہم خبر پہ توجہ دیتے ہیں, اس پہ نہیں دے کون رہا ہے. What do you have to say about that?
In training clients to be strong in their careers and successful in their investments, I tell them, first thing, make sure whatever question you ask, they're the expert in that field.
Very good. Very good.
Right? And even and let's say you brought me some news, I would like to ask you, how did you know?
Right.
And as soon as you ask how do you know, it came from a source. So you must have known from somebody.
Right.
Oh, I looked it up on Google. Okay. Right. So as soon as you ask how do you know, that really changes the question. That okay, how did you hear it? Did you hear from somebody else? Is that source? So because you want to find the validity of what it is, and it's always good to check.
بالکل ٹھیک. تو یعنی آپ یہ بات کریں کہ اگر ہم اس کو آج کے زمانے کے کانٹیکسٹ میں رکھیں تو وہ لوگ لیٹس سے جو فائنینشیل کرائسس سے گزر رہے ہیں, یا ان کے گھروں میں کوئی بیماریاں ہیں, یا اور ڈفرینٹ ٹائپ کے چیلنجز ہیں ہسبینڈ وائف کے اور لوگوں کے, اگر جس سے انہوں نے ایڈوائز لینی ہے اس سے نہیں لی, بیکاز ہمارا المیہ یہ ہے کہ ہم اس شخص سے مشورہ لیتے ہیں جو مشورہ دینے کا اہل نہیں ہوتا. Meaning if I have a financial situation, I need to go to financial advisor, but I instead call my friend who I believe very good in finances. Then I'm calling a disaster for myself. تو یہ behavior کیسے change کریں ہم؟
This is hard because it's in our culture.
Okay.
It's in our culture, like, you know, we have a lot of remedies and stuff, so it comes down to, you know, I remember my aunt, یہ کرو گے تو ٹھیک ہو جائے گا.
ٹھیک ہے.
So it's a pattern of just taking on someone else's advice, and as a tradition this is valid, right? So and that traditional stuff that heals you stuff may be good, but it's just, I think it's a pattern. But because we have access to information on our phones, which we didn't 100 years ago, then verifying information on your own, I think, is everyone's duty.
Everyone's duty. اچھا یہ بتائیں کہ چونکہ ہم مسلم پرسپیکٹیو کو بھی سامنے رکھنا چاہتے ہیں, یا جو بھی فیتھ بیسڈ لوگ ہیں جو اللہ پہ بھروسہ کرتے ہیں, تو کیا مسلمان کے لیے اور ایمان والے کے لیے پریشانی فیل کرنا بنتا ہے؟
پریشانی has to be felt.
has to be felt.
But you know, you can only mourn for 3 days. We, you know, my clients come, they're in pain, right? But
Right.
you know, I tell them how long.
How long?
You know, it's not to be rude, but it's how long do you want to do that?
Kab tak karoge?
Yeah, and it's okay to cry.
Right.
But then how long are you going to cry for after the breakup? Right? Because you weren't left here to just cry.
Right.
You were meant to learn.
And move on.
And the thing is then the learning.
Right.
Until they don't learn what they need to learn, the pain continues. They have to kind of learn what they needed to learn, otherwise it's a cycle again. And that's what I tell people. To get out of the pain permanently, you have to change your habits, your thoughts, and be able to catch yourself when you're thinking I'm doing things that you shouldn't.
So between the positive thinking and negative thinking, obviously nobody would want to call themselves कि मेरी negative thinking है. Everybody feel and believe that they are very positive.
Yeah.
But somehow they move from positive to negative side of the equation. कोई warning sign उसका बताएं.
Oh, it's the words.
The words.
Just simple. I suck. I'm bad.
ठीक है.
I'm weak.
I can't do that.
I can't do that. Now, if I don't say anything after that, there's a dead silence and it's recorded, right? So words.
Yes.
I don't suck yet. Yet. I messed up yesterday. So
Correct.
I added a word.
Correct.
I said yesterday or yet. So it obviously won't solve your problem, but it's not letting you carry it over. So if you add the word yesterday or yet,
You contained.
you've contained the negativity,
Yeah.
and you've added a positive, right? So, and
Yes.
if I say, I'm bad at school, but I'm going to get better, cancels it out. But if I don't add that, and if I'm not having a support system to add that positive,
ठीक है.
then obviously, then I'm going to keep thinking that I do have that negative is true, right? So when I'm helping people kind of unprogram, going back, when did you start this conversation? It's really, oh, yeah, this happened. And this was what was said. And this is what I remember.
ठीक है.
Right? So they tried to access, and I said, could that person who, whatever negative happened, could it be that you maybe misunderstood, like you just said? And they said, maybe. See that? So you know how you just said that? Within seconds you had anger,
जी.
supposedly. And then he goes, yeah, we just met up, you know.
And then you just completely become relaxed.
Yeah. But because you thought, like you said, negative of that, you then got.
Right away.
Right away.
Right away. Last question I would ask, at what point somebody should think, I need help and I need to reach out to somebody like you, somebody who can, you know, have you sit down and talk for multiple sessions and bring you out of the negative territory to the positive territory back again?
Well, this is what we have to change, right? I look at it, you have many areas in your life. In these areas of your life, are you performing your best?
Okay.
You should know which areas you're
Right.
The fitness and health and school. I mean, to be real, that, and the question is, do you want to improve in them?
ठीक है.
Right? Because if I start off that you're broken in all of these, it's a totally different approach then.
Correct. Versus you identify where you want to
Go.
get back into the game.
Yeah, and then we find out why you're not going there, right? That's
Right.
where we have to go back and forth and, like I said, build the right patterns, right? And I tell people it takes 6 months to maybe a year to get complete change, right? Sometimes it takes short fast because you're excited for the change. But if you are not excited for the change,
We won't change.
there's no energy.
Yeah, there is no energy. बहुत शुक्रिया शिराज साहब, thank you so much for the time. अगर आपने इस प्रोग्राम को पूरा तवज्जो से सुना होगा तो आपने देखा कि कुछ वार्निंग साइंस पे भी बात हुई. हमारी ज़िंदगी में हमारे पास वक्त ही नहीं है. जिस दौड़ में मैं और आप दौड़े चले जा रहे हैं, हमारे पास पॉज लेने का टाइम ही नहीं है. पता नहीं क्यों. अगर हम पॉज लेके थोड़ा सा अपने आप को रिव्यू करें, ऑब्जर्व करें, वो लोग जो हमारे करीबी हैं, जिन पे हम भरोसा करते हैं, उनसे मशवरा लें और उनसे अपने बारे में चेक करें कि कहीं हमारे हालात, हमारा बिहेवियर तब्दील तो नहीं हो रहा, जो हमें भी महसूस नहीं हो रहा. शायद आपको सब अच्छा नज़र आ रहा हो, लेकिन जब आप पॉज लें और ब्लाइंड स्पॉट्स चेक करें तो आपको महसूस होगा कि कुछ चीज़ों में कहीं गड़बड़ नज़र आ रही है. अगर आपको पेन, स्ट्रेस है, मुश्किलात हैं, तो आपने मशवरा उनसे लेना है جو مشورہ دینے کے اہل ہیں. اگر آپ کی سلیپ سائیکل کا پرابلم ہے, آپ کے کھانے پینے کا پرابلم ہے, so these are some of the warning signs, may not necessarily be reasons to go see a doctor, لیکن آپ کو ان تمام چیزوں کو دیکھنا ہوگا کہ کس طرح سے آپ اپنی زندگی میں جو ہے وہ پین کو, اسٹریس کو ریلیو کر کے ہیلدی لائف جینے کے لیے کس طرح سے واپس اپنی زندگی پہ آ سکتے ہیں. ناظرین اپنا خیال رکھیے گا, اگلے ہفتے آپ سے پھر ملاقات ہوگی. السلام علیکم.